So yoga is a yoking, and yoking denotes a connecting with subordination, subjugation. But what is being connected and subjugated to what? Usually it's either that the mind is connected and subjugated to the being, or that the individual being is connected and subjugated to the universal being, or that the lower self is subjugated to the higher self. Now, why would we want or need any of these at all? Is our mind not connected to us? That is a good question, and we will look more in depth into this connection of the mind, but for now, let's do a short exercise of meditation. So sit in any comfortable way, and now look for an item in the area that you're sitting, in your room, or if you're sitting outside like me. So find an object, and then close your eyes, and I want you to visualize this object, and think only about this object. By now, I'm guessing most, if not all of you, have noticed that your mind doesn't stay with the object. Maybe it started thinking about something else and then came back to the object by itself, or maybe you had to bring it back yourself. Or maybe you just now realized you completely forgot about the object you chose. Our mind is not in our control. We can try to exert control over it, but it is a struggle. So like this, we have various aspects of ourselves, various parts of who we are that are not really doing what we want them to do. These parts can be yoked, that is, connected and subjugated to our will. And that is one of the messages of yoga. Now, I know this will raise questions about who we are. What is our will? What is the being? And what is the mind? And I promise we will get back to these. But for now, you saw that even though at some level you wanted to focus on the object, that some parts of you at least did not listen. So that is one meaning of the word yoga. This yoking of the mind, or these parts of me to me, whomever this me is. And this is considered to be a positive way of being. I mean, I can relate to that easily. I wish I had more control over my mind, over my emotions, and even my body. The second meaning of the word yoga as yoking refers to the yoking of the individual self to some kind of universal self. So the me I feel myself to be is yoked to some kind of higher me, or a divine being that can be different and separate to who I am, or at least to who I believe myself to be. In this sense, the word yoga can take a semi-religious meaning, in that there is some kind of force we can call God, or at least a universal consciousness, and that we can connect to it and subjugate ourselves to its will. And if we believe that this force wants the best for us and will guide us, then we can consider this a good thing. So yoga as yoking can either mean to the fact that I'm not in full control over the various aspects of myself. Maybe it's my mind, maybe it's my senses, maybe it's my desires, maybe it's my body, maybe I have a lack of self-control when it comes to food, or a lack of self-control in any kind of thing. And that can mean yoking, because that lack of self-control, what does that mean? It means I have a self or selves that I don't control, right? Whoever this me is. Or it can mean the yoking that I attach myself to something divine. Either I believe myself to be a part of that divine, or that that divine is completely outside of myself. But this is what we've been talking about so far, about yoga as yoking. But yoga has other meanings. Panini, a Sanskritologist from the 4th century BC, trying to elucidate on this specific subject of the meaning of the word yoga, wrote that the term yoga can be derived from either one of two roots, yujir yoga, to yoke, or yuj samadhau, to concentrate. And this is the second literal meaning of the word we should look at. This is the meaning of yoga that fits most of all with the famous Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Patanjali teaches a method of concentrating the mind. So in the same way that soldiers would concentrate their spread out groups before an attack, the yogis concentrate their efforts, their mind, their consciousness in order to reach a state that he terms kaivalya, which will lead one to the liberation that many yogic texts deal with. So we can either use the word yoga to mean a yoking, a subjugation, or we can use the word yoga to mean a concentration, and then it's mainly a part of a certain type of process that somehow this concentration is going to lead to somewhere. But there is another literal meaning to the word yoga, one which is much more common, which I'm sure that you've heard, which we haven't discussed up until now. And that is the meaning of yoga as union. And we're going to talk about that in the next video.